guys, welcome back to my read along channel. We are reading Cookie by Jaqueline Wilson. This is read along number 2 of February. Check me out, smashing my goals, or some of them anyway. Chapter 4 starts on page 39. This is all Jaqueline Wilson's own work. I'm just reading for entertainment and pleasure. So without further ado, let's get going. Chapter 4. Dad had usually left for work by the time I got up in the morning. However, when I went downstairs for breakfast, he was sitting at the kitchen table drinking coffee and reading his newspaper. My tummy squeezed back into sausages, even though Mum smiled at me reassuringly. She was looking extra pretty in her shiny peach satin nightie and dressing gown, her long blonde hair falling past her shoulders, her neck and arms smooth and white as ice cream. "Hi, Poppet, would you like an egg?" she said. I shook my head, pouring myself a bowl of cornflakes. "I've got 2 flaky corns on my feet. Would you like to snack on them too?" asked Dad, looking up from his paper. I made myself giggle, though he'd made that joke hundreds of times already. It came out like a little mouse snicker. Mum poured him another cup of coffee and gave him another round of toast. Dad flicked it with his fingers. "For God's sake, Dilly, this isn't toasted properly. It's meant to be toast, right? Shove it back in the little toaster." Dad raised his eyebrows at me. "Your mother, Beauty, not what you'd call a cook. Maybe it's just as well you said no to that egg, because she hasn't got a clue how to boil it." I smiled uncomfortably. "There's not time anyways, Mum," I said, looking at the clock. Shall I watch Dad's toast while you go and get dressed?" "I'm taking you to school today, Beauty," said Dad. "I've got to pop into the Guildhall to see about this planning malarkey, so I'll drop you off on the way." I sat chewing my cornflakes into mush. It was a small enough mouthful, but it seemed to be swelling right up to the roof of my mouth, swilling in and out of my teeth, coating my tongue with orangey gold slime. I tried swallowing, but my throat wouldn't work. I didn't dare spit the cornflakes out into my bowl. I was doomed to keep them multiplying in my mouth until they splurted straight out of my ears. "Beauty, what are you putting that silly face for? Aren't you pleased I'm giving you a lift in the Merc? Make all your friends envious, eh?" I nodded, incapable of speech. My nod was the biggest fib ever. I didn't want Dad to take me to school. I especially didn't want him to take me in this shiny silver Mercedes. Mercedes was my middle name. It caused almost as much hilarity as my first name. Sky suggested I should be called Ugly Skoda Cookson. This was always made Sky and Emily and Arabella fall out laughing. "Say something then, don't just nod your head," said Dad. I swallowed desperately. Some of the cornflakes slid down the back of my throat. "Sorry, Dad," I mumbled, taking a long drink of juice. The cornflakes were still soggy and clump that I choked. I clamped my hand over my mouth while Mum patted me on the back. I leaned against her, rubbing my cheek against the soft silkiness of her nightie. I wished I was little enough for her to pick me up and hold me safe in her arms. Still way too small for school. I cleaned my teeth and I went to the toilet and I stuck my arms into my brown blazer. Dad sighed when he saw me. "I don't know. I fork out for the poshest girls' school in the whole county, and they just want you all wear that ugly uniform in the colour of dog's muck." "Jerry," said Mum, "well, honestly, why can't it be pink or lilac or something pretty girl's colour? She looks like a little orphan Annie." Dad tousled my hair in exasperation. "At least little orphan Annie had curls. Can't you do something about Beauty's hair, Dilly? What about a perm?" "She's still a little girl, and I think Beauty's got lovely hair just as it is," said Mum. "You'd like to be a curly knob, wouldn't you, Beauty?" said Dad. "Couldn't you put it up in those roller things at night for her, Dilly? People don't use rollers anymore," said Mum. "Not since bouffant hairdos were out of fashion." "Oh well, pardon me, I'm just a sad old bloke who hasn't got a clue about fashion," said Dad. There was an edge to his voice. I held my breath, wondering if he was going to start ranting all over again. But he just shook his head at Mum and slapped her lightly on the bottom. "That's right, you put me in my place, Dilly," said Dad. "Come on then, Beauty, let's get you to school." There was no way I could get out of it. I slumped down low on the soft leather back seat as Dad tooted his horn and shouted and swore his way through the traffic. "Idiot! Call yourself a driver? Come on, stop dithering. I'm late already," Dad fumed, honking the car in front of us. "Tell you what, Dad, I could jump out here. It would only take me 2 minutes to walk up the road. Then you can go straight into town, into the Guildhall." "What? No, don't talk nonsense, darling. I'm delivering you right to the school gate," said Dad. There was no point wasting breath trying to persuade him. He drew up absolutely spit spot in front of the school gates, even though there was an official notice on the gatepost warning parents not to park there. I didn't dare point this out to Dad, but lots of the mothers and fathers delivering their own girls to school were staring, some even raising their eyebrows and shaking their heads. The Mercedes was always a noticeable car. Now it seemed as big as a double-decker bus. But I undid my seatbelt, struggled with the door handle and hurtled out of the car. "Thanks for the lift, Dad," I gabbled. "Hey, don't I get a kiss from my beauty?" Dad called loudly from his open window. Arabella and Emily were standing watching. They nudged each other, sniggering as I kissed Dad's cheek. "Bye-bye, beauty," he called. Arabella and Emily were practically wetting themselves. Hello, ugly," said Arabella. "So Big Daddy brought you to school today, eh? Don't you know you're not supposed to park outside the gates? Does your dad think he's so special in that great big silver sardine tin that rules don't apply to him?" said Emily. I tried to march past, but they took an arm each, hanging on to me. I craned round and saw Dad waving at me cheerily, thinking I'd met up with my two best friends instead of my two worst enemies. No, Sky was the worst enemy of all. There she was, singing and dancing in the playground, showing off some silly routine she'd learned from television, tossing her long blonde hair and wiggling her hips. She should have looked ridiculous, but she didn't. She sounded a real singer and strutted like a real dancer. You couldn't help watching her. It wasn't just me. We were all watching everyone, the whole playground. All the girls were wishing they were Sky, even me. Sky finished with a flourish, arms up, as if expecting applause. Some of the girls started clapping as if it was a real show, and Sky was the star. Rona clapped too, begging Sky to show her to do the little skippy strutty bit. "Show us too, Sky," said Arabella, dropping my arm. "You're so good, you ought to go on Watchbox." "Hey, Sky, did you see old Ugly coming to school in her dad's silver rubbish car?" said Emily, giving me a little shove. "Oh my, the Flashmobile," said Sky, shading her eyes, pretending to be dazzled. "Ooh, let's act like we're impressed." She pranced about, Arabella and Emily copying her. Rona went on skipping and strutting, working her way over to me. "I'm useless at this lark," she said cheerily. She glanced at Sky and Emily and Arabella. "Take no notice, they're just being silly," she said. "Yeah," I said shakily. "You are coming to my birthday party, aren't you, beauty?" she asked. And I nodded shyly. "Ooh, you haven't really asked Ugly, have you?" said Sky, putting her hands on her hips. "You're a total ninny, Rona. We don't want creepy old Ugly." "Yes, I do," said Rona. She reached out and squeezed my hand. Her brown eyes looked into mine. Her cheeks were very pink, maybe from the dancing. "I'm so glad you're coming, beauty." She really sounded as if she meant it, as if she wanted us to be friends. And then the bell rang. Rona pulled a face. "Oh, blow, lesson time," she said. I pulled a face and sighed too, though I was always relieved when the bell went on. I liked lessons. Miss Woodhead was kind but very strict, so we weren't allowed to mess about and chat in the classroom. We had to sit up straight at our desks and listen carefully and put our hands up if we wanted to say anything. I could cope with lessons easy peasy. It was a playtime, so that was the problem. Before school and mid-morning break and the endless lunch hour, we had to play outside unless it was pouring with rain, but we were allowed in if we needed to go to the toilet. The minute I'd finished lunch, I'd rush to the cloakrooms and locked myself in the end cubicle in the toilet. I tucked my copy of A Little Princess inside my school blazer. I sat peacefully for more than half an hour, and Miss Minchin's seminary with Sarah. The eldest girl in the school, spiteful Lavina, was so like Sky. I wished I was more like Sarah, who never seemed the slightest bit upset by Lavinia and all her catty remarks. Sarah was loved by all the other girls, especially the little ones. They hung on her every word and called her princess and begged her to tell them stories. I imagined myself sauntering next door, going into the reception class, sitting on one of their squashy cushions and telling them one of my stories. They'd think I'd gone mental. The little girls didn't seem to like me any more than the big girls. Sudden tears prickled in my eyes and splashed the insides of my glasses. I gave a monumental sniff and wiped my glasses on the brows. "Don't you dare cry," I told myself fiercely. "Stop being so stupidly sorry for yourself. Lots of people like you. Rona likes you. She asked you to her birthday party. She wants to be friends." I felt a lot better until I heard two girls from our class, Louise and Poppy, come into the toilets. I knew it was them because they kept calling out their silly nicknames, Lulu and Poo Poo. I think I'd almost sooner be called Ugly than Poo Poo, but Poppy didn't seem to mind at all. They kept up this long silly conversation, shouting to each other from their individual cubicles. Hey Lulu, what are you going to give Rona for her birthday? I thought I'd maybe give her one of those special stuffed bears with a recording inside its tummy, Poo Poo. I could make it sing happy birthday. Great idea, Lulu. Maybe we could give her 2 bears. I could give her a boy and you could give her a girl. Yeah, okay, Poo Poo. Thought it was my idea first. Don't tell anyone else or Rona will get heaps of birthday bears. How many of us are going, Lulu? She's invited everyone, Poo Poo, the whole class. I tensed up like I had stomachache, bending forward so that little princess dug into my chest uncomfortably. So Rona hadn't singled me out. She hadn't invited me to her party because she particularly liked me. She'd invited everyone. Maybe she didn't like me at all, but she was kind and I didn't want to invite every other girl in the class, leaving me out altogether. I waited for Louise and Poppy to stop their silly twitterings in the toilets. When I went, I let myself have a 2-minute howl. I timed myself by my watch, clamping my hand over my mouth and pinching my nose to make myself stop. I mopped myself dry with toilet paper, but it was the shiny, scratchy sort, and it made my eyes redder than ever. Look at Ugly Wuggly, she's been crying. Boo-hoo, little baby, said Sky, as we went back into the classroom for afternoon school. Are you okay, Beauty? Said Rona, looking concerned. Yes, I'm fine, thank you, I said. I tried to say it in an airy, confident way, but my voice was still a little wobbly, and I gave a loud hiccup at the end of my sentence. Oh dear, she's got the burps now, said Sky, spluttering. Someone thumped Baby Ugly on the back, quick. Watch out or I'll give you a thump, I said fiercely, and I gave her a shove in the chest. It wasn't particularly a hard shove, but she wasn't expecting it. She staggered, arms flailing, shrieking like a siren. For goodness sake, Sky, stop making that dreadful noise, said Miss Woodhead. I'm in pain, Miss Woodhead. Beauty Cookson punched me here and it hurts, said Sky, hands clutching her front dramatically. Beauty punched you, said Miss Woodhead, raising her eyes. Yes, she did, Miss Woodhead. I was watching, said Arabella. I saw her too. Beauty just attacked poor Sky for no reason at all, said Emily. I expect she had reason enough, but that's still no excuse for fighting, Beauty. I'm not having my girls brawling like gutter snipes. I don't particularly care for telltales either. Now sit down and settle down, all of you, before I get really cross. I was thinking of having a special story time this afternoon, but I'm not sure you're in the right mood. I think we'd better have a spelling test instead. Everyone groaned and glared at me as if it was all my fault. They groaned even louder when we marked our spellings at the end of the lesson and I got 20 out of 20. I hurtled out of school when the bell went. Mum was waiting for me. She was wearing jeans and a pink t-shirt with fairy on it. She tied her hair into 2 cute plaits secured with pink bubbles. She looked about 14, so much younger and prettier than any of the other mums. Hi, Mum, I said happily, linking arms with her. Way back in the playground I heard Sky and Arabella and Emily calling after me. I didn't look round. Mum did though. Is that you they're calling? She asked. I shrugged. What is it they're saying? Just something stupid. They're stupid. Come on, Mum, let's get home quick. I don't want to miss my programme. Okay, Sam is calling to you, is he? You bet he is. We made it home in heaps of time. Mum gave me a glass of milk and a banana sandwich. I was starving as I had had very little breakfast and I bolted my lunch. I sipped and munched as Sam waved at me and Lily nibbled her carrot. What do we want to see? Sang the children. Sam and Lily in the rabbit hutch, I sang, through a mouthful of milky banana. Hello there, said Sam, smiling straight at me. So, Sam, I said. He gave me an understanding nod. Lily here is getting very excited, he said, cuddling her. Lily lolled sleepily against Sam's chest, her blue eyes dreaming. She doesn't look very excited, Sam, I said. Sam gave me a little wink. We had to keep up the pretense for all the kids watching the programme. Guess how old Lily is, said Sam. Go on, have a little think. How old are you? I'm a bit embarrassed to tell you, Sam. I think I'm heaps older than most of your viewers, I said. Well, Lily's a bit younger than you, said Sam. She's very nearly 1 year old. She's very mature for a nearly 1 year old, isn't she? He tickled her gently under her skin. You can toddle out into the garden and fix yourself a lovely veggie tea, and you can tuck yourself up in bed and get yourself up in the morning and give yourself a good wash. Could you do that when you were nearly 1? Maybe I had a stab at it, I said, giggling. I thought I'd throw a little birthday party for our Lily. Do you think she'd like that? I think she might like a birthday party, I said, but not with heaps and heaps of people. Sam nodded. I don't think Lily wants a big party with lots and lots of friends. She's a bit shy sometimes. I think we'll give her a little party, Lily and me. And you too, of course. You can come, can't you? I can come on. Oh, Sam, I wish you could come to my birthday party. Just you and me and Lily and Mum and maybe Rona. She's asked me to her birthday party, but I'm not sure I want to go. Sky will be there. She's Rona's best friend and my worst ever enemy. She's so horrible. I don't know why Rona wants to be her friend. Maybe Rona will get fed up with Sky and make friends with you, said Sam. Oh, I wish, but it's never going to happen, I said, sighing. You never know, said Sam. But remember, Lily and I are still your best friends. I'll always remember that, I said. Sam gave me a special secret smile, and then he raised his voice, talking. I think that's supposed to say Sam, but it says same, guys. So I'm going to just say Sam. Sam gave me a special secret smile, and then he raised his voice, talking to everyone else. What do you think I should get Lily for a birthday present? Have you got any good ideas? How about painting me a picture of an ideal present for our birthday bunny? Send it to Sam at the rabbit hutch, okay? Bye then. I waved goodbye and then I went upstairs and drew a special picture of Lily with a little paper crown perched on her head and I am one today badge tied around one floppy ear. I drew her birthday carrot cake with a real baby carrots decorating the icing top. I drew one big candle in the middle. Then I got a new piece of paper and I drew my own birthday cake. I'd seen exactly the one I wanted, with white icing and pink rosebuds. I loved proper birthday cake. I loved the soft sponge and the jam and the buttercream, and I especially loved the sweet icing. I looked at my paper birthday cake and then pretended to blow out my candles and make a wish. And that is chapter 4, guys. So chapter 5 starts on page 55. I'm not sure if I said this at the beginning, so I just want to say I'm reading this. This is all Jacqueline Wilson's own work. I'm just reading it for entertainment and pleasure. Cannot remember if I said it. Really sorry, guys. So we are finishing on chapter 5 for next time to pick up there. That's on page 55. But without further ado, thank you guys for listening. Until the next time. Bye.